Tomorrow marks the start of hurricane season. Scientists from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration say they expect the 2023 Atlantic hurricane season to be near normal. Well, they recently announced their hurricane season outlook, and NOAA administrators share more on it.
NOAA is predicting a near normal 2023 Atlantic hurricane season. Specifically, there is a 40% chance of a near normal season, a 30% chance of an above normal season, and a 30% chance of a below normal season. For the range of storms expected, NOAA calls for the following: 12 to 17 named storms with top winds of at least 39 miles per hour. Of these, 5 to 9 are forecast to become hurricanes with maximum winds of at least 74 miles per hour. This includes 1 to 4 major hurricanes ranking as Category 3 or above and winds of at least 111 miles per hour.
Well, with just hours until the official start of hurricane season, federal officials are urging you to get ready. Natalie Brand has more.
No two storms are alike.
FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell says it's not just residents on the coast who need to get ready.
These hurricanes are different than what we've seen in the past. There are more rain events, there are stronger storm surge, and the majority of the fatalities are coming from those two hazards.
What are you most worried about this year?
What I worry about the most right now is the fact that we need to focus more on the actual risks and hazards that are associated with these hurricanes.
The message has to be, no matter what the seasonal forecast is, you have to prepare as if you're going to be affected.
We've just discussed this.
At the White House, agency chiefs briefed President Biden on NOAA's improved hurricane modeling systems.
We're getting more and more accurate forecasting of hurricanes, their tracks, their intensity, their associated storm surge, which means saving more lives because we can anticipate what is likely to happen.
Forecasters caution people not to become complacent if we don't see storms early on in the season. They stress the threat is there every day until the end of November.
Well, along with the hurricane season outlook, the list of the season's hurricane names were released. WFMY News 2's weather team explains more about that process.
Well, here we are on the eve of hurricane season beginning. It starts tomorrow, so a fresh new season and a whole new list of names. But how do we get those names and where did they come from, Ed? So let's start explaining it, breaking it all down. Those names come from all of the areas that are represented in the tropical Atlantic basin. So those names are English, French, and Spanish names. And there are actually 6 lists of names that rotate. So 6 years from now, we're going to be using the same list that we have this year. So that 2023 list would come up again in 2029. So first name on the list for us this year would be Arlene, then Brett, then Cindy, and then Don. We haven't had one of those name storms yet, but make no mistake, we will probably have one in the next several weeks. Those lists, of course, do go in alphabetical order, but they alternate male and female names. And Ed, I thought it was interesting. You told me you remember when that switch actually happened back in the 70s.
Yeah, prior to 1979, it was all female names, and that was kind of after the fact. Sailors used to actually name these storms after their girlfriends before we had a systematic way of doing it. But when the names were retired for bad storms, and storms that were destructive, they started using the male-female names. So that gave them a whole new array of names. And again, that started in 1979.
And thankfully, we've only ran out twice in history before.
Well, when it comes to hurricanes on the East Coast, North Carolina is the second most hit state after Florida. Tomorrow on the Good Morning Show, WFMY News 2's weather team explains why that is. Tune in at 6 a.m. to find out. Well, last season, Category 5 Hurricane Ian was the most damaging storm to hit the U.S. Some areas still have a long way to go in their storm recovery.
This is my house. This is my house for me and my dog.
Michael Salura and his 15-year-old long-haired Chihuahua Ginger now call this Infinity sedan home. After Hurricane Ian destroyed the camper they lived in, insurance only paid off the outstanding loan, and Salura doesn't qualify for FEMA aid.
Before the storm, I had a job. I had a house. Everything was comfortable. I'd leave for work, and my dog was inside in the air conditioning. After the storm, I have no more house.
He's not alone.
It's really hard.
Robert Burton and Cindy Lewis are living out of a hotel. Their mobile home was totaled by storm surge.
We've been in limbo. We just,
It's been an emotional ride.
With so much work left to do, Southwest Florida is already bracing for what may come next.
Remember, it only takes one storm.
That is something people here know all too well. Solura says despite the hardship, he will not leave.
Oh, I love this island. I'm Fort Myers Beach strong. I've been here for 22 years. And I plan on staying for another 22.
Still, there's no telling when things will be back to normal in this and other hard-hit communities.
NOAA estimates Ian, blamed for 152 deaths, cost nearly $113 billion in damages. The name Ian was permanently retired from the hurricane names list. So was Fiona, which was a Category 4 storm that left 32 people dead last September. WFMY News 2 at 6 is coming up next.